This is season 4, and I am on a mission to help creatives become the most loved versions of themselves. I want to help you step into health in every single area of your life and pursue the authentic creative expression that you feel called to and that only you can. The world feels crazy right now, and we need healthy creatives more than ever. So let's get into it. I'm Courtney Lancaster, and this is the Heal Create podcast. Hi, healthy creatives. I'm so happy you're here. I have just some thoughts that I wanted to share with you, basically based on a lot of conversations that I've had with a lot of clients lately. And whenever I notice a theme, and there have been several themes throughout the last, in the time that I've had this business of coaching creatives and coaching people, and patterns that you see. The thing that I think has been highlighted to me is this confusion around what is healthy drive, like what is healthy, what is striving versus, actual like integrated drive. Because I think like on the one hand, we are all on to hustle culture and how like destructive it can be to just ignore your body, ignore your health, your relationships, your life to pursue single-mindedly this like goal that you have. And that can get really reckless. And I think we're all really aware of the damage that can cause. On the other hand, the healing, emotional healing, spiritual space world can kind of make it seem like it's not healthy to have drive at all. That like any attachment that we have to anything is actually like not good for us. And that's just not true. It's not how humans even operate. If you look at kids, like little kids that feel supported, have parents that have, structure for them. If they are in a situation where they can like play freely, they play so hard. And most of my kids, I have 2 kids, most kids, especially if there's, they're in a situation where they're like we were just at the beach for the day, and the kids that were there, we were there for hours, and they spent like the whole time digging a hole and building this structure. They were driven, not because anyone made them, not because they wouldn't be okay if they didn't, but because that's actually how a healthy human operates. We're here to fulfill the ideas that we have on our heart. So I want to encourage anybody who is feeling confused as you begin to move towards some of the things that you are lit up by, maybe even, goals that you have in your own job right now, or in your own work, with your own family, maybe health goals, maybe things that, if you're a creative or an artist, maybe you have a project that you're really excited about. But you want to make sure that you don't burn out. And that actually kind of is keeping you from going towards the thing. That's actually really common. And I think it's because honestly, a lot of us are just really confused. So there's sort of like a trauma drive, and then there's like an actual integrated drive. And I think a lot of us know the difference. Honestly, if you look at what so many people think are going on right now in the world, like there's definitely a collective upheaval as far as like the way that we've operated. And that I think is showing a lot of us that we have to do things differently. Hopefully it's showing us how important like valuing our life and our relationships and our health and our nervous system is. I mean, that's obviously what this whole podcast exists to do, is to support healthy creatives. Like emotionally, physically sustainable creativity, because you guys know, I believe healthy creatives are here to help heal the world and move it forward into this new kind of era that we're heading into. So we want to be aware of when we are being led by fear or frantic desire or freak out or like scarcity. And that is kind of this trauma drive that a lot of us have either experienced or we've seen other people experienced. And we're like so afraid of it ever happening to us again, or we're so afraid of it happening to us at all that we're like unsure if any amount of hustle is bad for us. So I want to be clear about what the difference is between like healthy hustle and like a trauma drive to move towards something that you think will fix your life or heal your problems or get you the attention that you need or whatever. It's always gray. We're always going to be uncovering areas of ourselves where we're like, oh, I didn't even know I was operating under that fear. I mean, it's to anybody who's committed to growth, you're going to find that stuff all the time. That's just maturing. That's just growth. So this isn't to like for you to hit some like perfect mark. It's more just for you to pay attention. So like if you notice that you have this like dream or this thing that you want to do or this thing that you want to build, and you notice that there's any part of you that feels like, if this doesn't work, I'm doomed. If this doesn't work, I'm nothing. That is actually really common for creatives, especially like Enneagram 4 types. Okay, my husband right now is reading The Wisdom of the Enneagram. I kind of feel like a lot of us went through our Enneagram journeys like, 10 years ago, which is no judgment on him, but he's like just recently got excited about it. Have you ever like watched a movie that everybody else watched like 10 years ago or 20 years ago? That is kind of what it's like watching him like get really excited about the Enneagram, except it is actually helping me so much to like relearn all of these things. That totally sounded like I was judging him. I wasn't judging him. I was just surprised. I was like, oh, the Enneagram. Right. Yeah. I'm learning so much just from what he's learning and reading. But what I am learning and remembering, especially because like, honestly, I don't know, 80% of the clients that find me are Enneagram 4s because we all get kind of stuck in this particular way. I myself am an Enneagram 4. And so it's kind of this, we all have this same wound of like, basically of being invisible, of having no identity, of just being like that terror of being completely unseen is so deep in us. And so when we creatives, maybe you're not an Enneagram 4, but you can still relate to that idea. When we have something inside of us that we are really passionate about, our little younger selves can kind of connect to that thing and think like, this better work out because this is what I'm here to do. And if it doesn't, like, I'll be nothing. That can lead people to really outpace their own nervous system. If you have something like this sort of belief that like when it happens, you'll be okay, like either financially or you'll have the connection that you want, or you'll be able to have the attention that you've always hoped for, and that will help you feel relief. That's another kind of iteration of that idea. If you notice, again, this is like very true for 4s or Enneagram 4s or like artists and like very creative, sensitive people. I feel safe when I'm exceptional. This is like the sort of the subconscious belief of like some of our top performers. And it was really interesting, actually. I watched Noah Kahan's documentary. It was on Netflix. He put out this documentary that was like fascinating to anybody who's in this industry, anyone who's in the entertainment industry, but anyone who is in this sort of growing industry of trying to help artists with their emotional health. It was like a study that we'll never stop learning from. Like he is, and even, talked about being just like pretty disturbed a lot of the time, but feeling like safe on stage, safe inside of his songs. And that feeling, whether it's whatever your specific art or creativity or entrepreneurship is, it's like when the business succeeds, when my book um, you know, launches, when my album comes out, when I'm finally step on stage for that performance or the show starts, then I just feel like this relief, this like feeling of like, I'm home, I'm here. This is where I'm fully alive. As sad as it is, but now I know as common as it is, this used to happen to me with worship leading. I mean, and I love Jesus and I love leading people into love. You guys already know this about me. I love leading worship. I still do. But in a house where there wasn't a lot of emotional maturity or health or conversation growing up, which was true for a lot of us. I had so many like unexpressed emotions inside of my body. And the place that it did feel safe to let that out was worship. And for anybody that's interested, we can really spiritualize that to a lot of worship leaders' detriment, saying that like, I mean, I've heard worship leaders, like I've sung with some of the top worship leaders in like the Christian worship leader, Christian music world. And some of them would say, I noticed my chronic illness like fading when I was singing on stage, when I was leading worship. I noticed that I just felt total peace. I felt power. I felt so much passion. And then they're like the most shy, anxious people off stage. That was like my first introduction to like that kind of just that feeling of feeling totally at home when you are, exceptional, when you're like seen and heard and you are excellent in your presentation and your talent. And then, the more that I worked with people, the more that I moved forward with like supporting healthy creatives, the more that you find that this is, and the science backs this too, this is true for a lot of people who have these, big goals where they want to be excellent and they don't feel like they're safe in their bodies if they're not. If you notice that, that's okay. All of it's welcome here. There's nothing bad or wrong. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to quit doing what you're doing. Let's just adjust. Let's just look at the parts of us that feel like they won't be okay if the thing they want to happen doesn't happen. And that is, so many creatives that I support will talk about this feeling of like, I feel like I want to do this, whatever the dream is that won't leave them alone. Design, I want to do music, I want to write, I want to, whatever it is. But I just feel like I feel so stuck. And if this issue that I'm struggling with, whatever it is, relationship issues or their chronic dysregulation or chronic illness or their family situation or financial situation, if this would just go away, then I could finally do this thing that I actually want to do. And what they don't realize is that the thing in front of them is actually helping to shape the person that they need to become to be able to sustainably hold the thing that they really want. And it's not anything I have, like, I couldn't prove it to you. I couldn't like show you all of the science data of why this is true. Although deep dives would be fascinating if you were to kind of go into that. But I can tell you what I've noticed for myself and what I've seen over and over and over and over again with the people that I've worked with is this just like this common thread and kind of a misunderstanding of what a journey towards a dream or your dreams actually look like. So clean, integrated drive looks different. An actual pursuit of either the thing that lights you up, the dreams that kind of that have always sort of been there under the surface that won't let you go, or maybe the journey towards discovering what that is looks different. And that journey, that drive looks like falling in love with the process along the way, knowing that whatever is in front of you is trying to teach you something. It looks like I feel called towards this. And I'm not attached to the outcome in the way that it has to work out or else I won't be okay. But I do have intentions for like where I'm going. Maybe it's crystal clear for you, or maybe it's not crystal clear, but you have a kind of a direction that you're going. Either way, when we talk about how important it is, a lot of spiritual communities talk about how important it is to be like not attached. Like I'm just free, I'm flowing, I'm not attached. And I don't want to judge anyone's worldview, but I do want to say that like a healthy adult is not attached to an outcome because it validates their identity, but they do have, they are able to set intentions for where they want to go and build structure around that. And the free flowingness comes from the commitment to the ever deepening work of you knowing how deeply loved you are, no matter what. Those two things can coexist at the same time. You working on knowing how deeply loved you are, no matter what. That looks like inner child work. That looks like nervous system regulation. That looks like getting support, talking to people to help you like move through some of those blocks. And it also looks like you designing a daily practice that's going to move you a little bit closer to where you want to go every day. And then an integrated drive looks like you saying, I want to build this because I'm alive. Like healthy kids play and their parents have the structure for them and the support and the unconditional love. So you in your journey are both the kid and the adult. You get to play with these healthy parameters around you and like dive into your creativity, explore what lights you up. Like you get to follow that North Star of your own desire. And you also are the adult that has structure around healthy habits for your life, healthy bedtimes, healthy nutrition, healthy daily practices that help you like somatically release or feel grounded or exercise, move your body. That's an integrated drive. That is somebody who knows how deeply loved they are and moves towards what they want to build from an integrated place. It's based on the idea that your identity is secure, even when the outcome is uncertain. And the outcome being uncertain, again, that also doesn't mean anything about your identity. So the thing that I hear a lot of creatives in kind of the beginning or the middle stages of moving towards their dreams talks about is this feeling of, how can I know exactly what I want to do before I take a step forward? Or what if the thing doesn't work out? So knowing exactly what you want to do, like what your crystallized big goal is actually pretty rare. I was just listening to a podcast and it was talking about how like successful people don't make the right decisions. They just make decisions. They just take a step forward in the direction of where they want to go. And if it doesn't work out or if something happens, they take another step. They make another decision and they just keep making decisions. Dysregulated nervous systems that are afraid that their identity is tied to the outcome get paralyzed in decision making. And that's why we get so stuck, is because we're trying to secure that the future will be safe, that people will love us, that they'll love the things that we do, that they'll get us, and that everything's going to be okay before they take any steps forward. And because that is impossible, we don't take steps forward. And so the goal is to teach your nervous system and to teach yourself that you can navigate whatever happens in the future. Everything is navigatable. I say that to my teenager all the time, and he's like, do you know how often you say that? Everything is navigatable. Because it is. That's like the secret nobody wants you to know. Okay, I don't know that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that's the truth I don't hear people talk about a lot, is that you cannot guarantee that the thing won't fall apart. You can't guarantee that when you get there, you're going to be like, oh, this actually wasn't it. You can't guarantee you're not going to experience heartbreak and loss and grief and confusion and upheaval. You can't guarantee any of that, but you can show yourself through enough consistency, and you actually can completely change your experience if you don't have this, you can show yourself, but I'm going to be with you no matter what. God's going to be with you no matter what. And I don't know what will happen if all of the things go wrong that we're afraid of, which, by the way, 95% of what we worry about never actually happens. If we can't guarantee that things won't go wrong, but we can promise ourselves that when we get to that point, we're not going to abandon ourselves. We're going to remember that we have resources, that we are unconditionally loved eternally, forever. We are deeply, deeply loved. And we're going to do the things to help us feel as safe as we can, no matter what happens. We're going to remember our tools, or we're going to reach out for support, and we're going to walk through whatever it is. And most of the time, it's not that big of a deal. Most of the time, like, the things that we come up against are really uncomfortable, but like, how many times have we looked back on something that was uncomfortable and realized, like, oh, maybe that wasn't as big of a deal as it thought it was, as I thought it was. So I think that we need to not be afraid of striving. We're the sensitive ones, especially, we're so sensitive to this idea of, like, I don't want to burn out. I just want to take a break. I mean, this is like I hear this all the time. That we want to be like free and in flow, especially women. Like, I just want to be my feminine. I just want to be relaxed. I just don't want to, like, have to try so hard. But I promise you, if you fall in love with your own process, what you'll find out is that striving can be rebranded. Like, when trees, go bare in the winter, and their roots are just like pushing down deep into the ground, or, like, I don't know, squirrels are trying to find hiding places for the nuts they find, or they're trying, like, really hard to get these different nuts. Like, they're, like, working really hard. Like, it is as created beings, we are actually here to work, and work feels like play when you're regulated and you get to build the thing. You get to choose what you work on, but it's not going to be easy. You're never going to get to a point where you're so regulated where you're just like, oh my gosh, it all just happened for me. But that's not a bad thing. That is actually, and if you think that sounds terrible and you're like, wait, what? I thought we got to a point of ease. You don't. Sometimes there are really easy moments. Sometimes we get these opportunities. I have experienced this for myself in ways that have blown my mind. I've also seen it in clients in ways that have blown my mind, where, like, they've got their head down and they're just doing their thing. They're doing their healing work. They're taking their small steps towards their goals. And these opportunities come and you're like, what the heck? That was, like, way too easy. That does happen sometimes. And sometimes you just have these, like, blissful days or nights where you're not doing anything, and those feel amazing as well. But, like, it actually doesn't feel good at all to not work towards the life that you are clear about wanting, the dreams that God put in your specific, unique heart. And you could call it striving, but it's more like focused play or focused building. That's really normal for an integrated human. And I don't know if, just in case anybody needs a reminder, like, why do you keep saying integrated? What does integration mean? What does integrated mean? Integrated means everything belongs. Like, whatever comes up in me, oh, welcome. I'm going to bring you into love. I'm going to bring you into the fold. I'm going to, like, pull you in and love you, whatever it is. Whatever desires you have, you are going to look at those, you're going to bring them in, and you're going to welcome them and get really curious about them, see what they have to teach you. Whatever trials come up, you're going to bring it in, you're going to love it, you're going to welcome it. Whatever, like, internal triggers come up along the way, those are just showing you these young parts that need to be brought in, I mean, in internal family systems, which is an emotional healing modality by Dr. Richard Schwartz, these young parts of us are, they are literally called exiles because we are so uncomfortable with the sensations in our body when we are triggered, or the shame that we carried when we were young, or the trauma, that we will push them from our psyche and never want to see them again. And if anything pokes that bear, anything reminds us of those parts of us, like we just want to like squirm and push it away and just never remember it again. Integration means we are actually turning towards, we're moving towards, we're like bringing it in. And like we always talk about wanting to be people of integrity, especially in my religious upbringing, being people of integrity and character. That was always like such a high value. But being people of integrity means that you know how to integrate the hard stuff, the stuff that you wish weren't true about you, the deep wounds that you wish you never had to face. Like there is nothing like, if you are committing to this work with support, if you need it, if you're committing to this work, there is nothing like beginning to wake up one day and realize, like, I really know that whatever comes up, I can handle it. Not that it's going to be easy, but I really know that I can, because you've already integrated some of the things that you thought you would never want to face ever again, or you've already gone through hard things or loss, and it's all made you stronger. So that's what I'm talking about when I say integration. But I think our relationship with striving, with drive, needs to be integrated as well, because it has a really, really healthy place. Like we're here to grow. We're here to build with our lives. I mean, in all ways, build relationships, build businesses, build our creative dreams. You guys hear what I'm saying? I'm reading this incredible book right now called Desire by Jay Stringer. I've talked about it on my Instagram a few times, and it's like, oh, it's phenomenal. I already have believed, this was a huge pivot point for me, that your dreams will always require your healing and that you can trust what lights you up. So the relationship between like the things that light you up and your own healing is obviously, it's the title of this podcast. It's like already the foundation for all of the work that I do with myself and also with my clients. It's the process that I help them go through. And it is such an integration process, because you can trust what lights you up means that when something is like calling to you, or you're curious about something in your own life, you're curious about building something in your own life, when you move towards it, inevitably you're going to come up to a wall or a block or something that feels like this is hard or impossible, or like maybe that dream wasn't meant for me or whatever. But like that is the exact thing that dream was actually asking you to heal. And there have been some dreams that I have had, or I would say some like desires, some things that lit me up that I wanted to work through. I wanted to work towards. And I was like, I don't know where this is leading me, but I really feel like I want to follow this. And when I began to follow it, what I found was that it actually was just showing me a piece of me that I needed to find to clarify the vision for my life even more. We need to normalize that. That's really, really, really normal. Like we're always taking these bridges towards like more clarity of vision. The next thing. Nothing is wasted. No trial is wasted. No job that you feel like is like a shitty job that you wish you didn't have to have because you really want to be a musician or whatever. Nothing. It's all a part of you becoming the person that can hold it. Never lose sight of that being true. And if you can make striving or rebrand striving and let go of your fear of burnout, because you are so smart. You're going to pay attention to your nervous system. There are going to be days that you're going to be tired. There are going to be days you accidentally overrode your nervous system. There's going to be days when you feel lost or confused. Maybe you even feel a little bit of burnout. And so then we adjust and we take care of ourselves and we do the things that we know restore our soul and our body. And then we wake up and we begin again. We move towards towards the thing again. Like, I hope that that doesn't sound exhausting, because it's actually, once you begin to fall in love with that process, incredibly energizing, because you cannot lose. You either win or you learn every single day. There's a prayer that one of my clients told me about by Father Thomas Keating, and it's a welcoming prayer. I think she called it a welcoming prayer, and it was something like, we welcome everything. We welcome, welcome. I welcome everything that comes to me today. I know that it's for my healing. Every feeling that I have, every situation, every person, every condition, I welcome it, and I'm open to however God wants to teach me through this situation. If that was our foundation, you cannot lose. And if you commit to letting yourself be taught in that way, trusting what lights you up and never abandoning yourself, you cannot lose. And you will look back a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe how far I've come. That's the path. Anyways, I love you guys. I hope this was encouraging to you. I want to let you know that I have the Heal Create Collective. So it is a 6-week journey beginning June 16th. I'm just going to check that right while you're here. And we are going to go, June 16th. And we are going to go through the process that I walk clients through, but in a group coaching session. And it is like the Heal Create process. We're going to get really clear on who you authentically are. If you can't hear me, I'm sorry. If you're not like watching, I'm like banging my hands together. How annoying in front of the microphone. I'm so sorry. We're going to get really clear on who you authentically are. We are going to get really clear on what you're building with your life. And you don't need to stress about like how clear. We're going to talk about more about like the direction. We're going to get clear in your direction. We're also going to talk about the compassion method. So I really want to walk you guys through what sustainable emotional health actually looks like, how to actually meet your own emotional needs. And then we're going to do a deep dive, you guys know it, into mapping your unique nervous system. We're going to talk about the nervous system in a way that you cannot unsee, for better or worse. It's so helpful. This is something that now I've taught to teams and businesses and, hundreds of clients over the last few years. It never ceases to amaze me, the work that it does in someone's life to really understand their nervous system. We're going to talk about like you designing the practice that actually moves you forward. We're going to have Whitney Lynn come in. She's going to do some breathwork practices with us. We're going to talk about all of the different practices that I've used and that are proven to help you expand your nervous system capacity, help teach you how to regulate, how to navigate dysregulation, how to see your triggers as trailheads and see what they're leading you to. And we're going to mirror each other. I'm also going to do some group coaching, Q&A every single week so we can really dive deep into where you're feeling stuck. And I'm just genuinely thrilled. I'm so excited for this. It feels like such incredible timing. I have applications open. It's just a couple questions just to make sure that you're clear on what we're doing and so that I can kind of get to know you a tiny bit. And the answers so far have been so beautiful. So I'm going to keep them small, like small groups. And I think you're going to love it. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.